Welcome to Trojan Tech. My name is Matt Hunt and I'm an instructional technologist at Peach County High School. Today our goal is to provide you with at least one tool that can continue to enhance your teaching to engage your students. Let's get started. As a user of the ClearTouch panel, the first thing we want to do is make sure we know how to turn it on. We also want to troubleshoot if the board doesn't come on. So, real easy. Power button's here. You simply press that until it turns white. I have had teachers come and say, hey, my panel isn't turning on. I'm not sure what's happening. Well, if you look behind the power cord, I should say if you feel behind the power cord, there's a toggle switch that will also cut your board on. This is the main power switch. So if your board's not coming on, check that power toggle to make sure that it's not disengaged. The first piece of ClearTouch software we're going to take a look at is Snowflake. It's right here. It looks like a snowflake. Many teachers know this is here, but have probably not used it in a while. Some teachers may use it all the time, but you're simply going to click on this, and it may take a second to come up, but once it comes up, a little bit of magic happens. So let's take a look. When you arrive at Snowflake, you get a menu like this. The first simple trick that I can show you, and this is nothing big, it just helps you get places faster. So if you take one finger and scroll, it's going to go a little bit slower, but if I take multiple fingers, it'll help me get to where I want to go more quickly. So that's the first trick. One finger, slow, multiple fingers, pretty fast. If you're just getting started with a ClearTouch, one thing you want to do in Snowflake is switch it to your appropriate school setting. So what I mean by that is you have two cues, or I call them cues, in the bottom corners of your panel. We're going to click on this, and you're going to notice in the bottom right hand corner you have something that says secondary or elementary. We're going to click on that, and it's going to give you the option to choose your appropriate setting. For me, I'm at the high school, so I would choose secondary. If you're in the elementary school, you would choose elementary. Also, secondary would probably be appropriate for middle school. Now, nothing much changes when you switch these. I'll go ahead and switch to elementary. Some of the apps on here will change, but it shouldn't affect you too much. But that may be something you want to do first, just to make sure. So I'm going to go on back to secondary. And again, bottom right hand corner of your corner cue, and I'm where I need to be. One of my favorite features about the ClearTouch is the zone feature in Snowflake. The zone feature is located under Tools. You're going to click on this, and it's going to give you this menu option. And what this is going to allow you to do is set up, in my mind as a former science teacher, imagine stations set up around the room. You may have a station where kids work on a laptop. You may have stations where kids read an article, have a hands-on activity, and this could be one of your stations. I think that adding too many zones may be a problem, because if I have a kid here and a kid here, you have one that has to reach over the other. But I can now take and put different apps on each of these zones. So I may have a chorus here where a kid could be working. I may have a Google Doc here. I may have a picture to annotate here. And this is going to take me to choose my picture. I may have a node at the bottom. But the cool thing about zones is I can change the zones. I can have two kids working at a time. Also, you can go to this option. This may be a bit confusing for you, so if you ever click on this option, what it's going to do is it's going to rotate a couple, so the top will be rotated. And the reason you have this feature is for a ClearTouch that folds down into a table. You may have a kid working on this side of the table and kids working on the other side of the table. So don't let that confuse you. The first time I clicked on it, I was real confused, but that's what that feature is for. So zones is an excellent tool. And again, if I want to get to the bigger screen, I'm just going to get the home. Now I've rotated everything, so I have to go back and fix that. And since it's upside down, I get a bit confused, but everything is in that corner Q menu. So if you ever feel like, oh no, what have I done? First step, go to that corner Q. If I want to get out of this, you're just going to close the app. And again, corner Q. Since I've rotated before, I hit rotate in the corner Q and I'm back to normal. So that's zones. Excellent, excellent stuff for rotations or carousel reviews. The next feature in Snowflake that I'd like to show you is the Spotlight tool. In Snowflake, I don't know of a whole lot of uses except if we all have ClearTouch and I want you to focus on one part of that ClearTouch, you're going to go to the corner Q, you're going to select Spotlight, and that's going to give you a spotlight. So if there is a certain place on this board that I'd like you to put your attention, maybe I'm telling you about chorus, I would put this on there, and it's as simple as when I'm done with the spotlight, I can take that off of there. You can also access Spotlight from the corner menu, from the side menu. And I think there are more uses with this Spotlight, which we'll talk about later. But you simply go to the hammer and the wrench, and you select Spotlight. I'll come back to this as we move along in the video, but that is Spotlight. One option for our visually impaired students on Snowflake is the color overlay. Very simple. You're going to go to the corner Q. You're going to click on color overlay and it gives you a multitude of different colors to choose from. When I select one of these, it's going to give an overlay to the entire screen. You can still see it, and this is going to help students with certain impairments actually see the screen better or be less bright on the eyes. I can adjust the transparency of this to just a little bit, to a lot, whatever that student needs. Now, if you ever accidentally click on this and you have a weird tint to your screen, it's very easy. You're going to choose this top left corner and it's going to go back to regular, and then you simply click off and the color overlay is gone. So another feature of ClearTouch that I love is the ability to record your lessons. So there are multiple ways to do this, but I enjoy using the recorder in Snowflake, and all you do, again, you go to the corner Q, and you're going to hit start recording. Now, you can buy USB mics that you can hook up to the ClearTouch, and as long as it's set up in your settings, it will accept sound. So USB mic, you can get these for pretty cheap nowadays on Amazon. But I just hit start recording and it's going to give me a countdown to let me know. And now it's recording anything that happens on my screen within Snowflake. You'll notice that it is recording by the icon in the top corner. But right now I'm going to go to chorus. And it may take a second, but I'm going to teach a lesson on anions and cations. So anions and cations are ions that are positively or negatively charged. Cations, the way you remember that, is because they are positive. So now I have a way, so cations are positively charged. I have a way when students miss school to record my lesson, put it on Google Classroom. So I've taught my lesson. I'm going to go back to the corner Q to stop recording. You may freak out here because I did. You're not going to see stop recording yet on your main menu. What you have to do is expand your menu, and that brings up stop recording. So I'm going to click on stop recording. It should have happened. It's going to tell you where to go to find your file, and I'm going to show you that. So what we're going to do is exit the app. We're going to exit Snowflake. You can do all this through the corner Q. Alright, so we had a bit of an issue there. We're going to wait for it to close down. Alright, so here I am on my desktop. You're going to go to your files, and I simply click on this button, this icon. I'm going to go to documents, and I'm going to look for Nuatex Snowflake. So once I do that, I see recordings under my documents. This is the recording that I just made. It won't have any sound because of the sound driver on this particular ClearTouch, but you will notice everything that I did. So now you have the option to record your lessons for kids that aren't there, or maybe just for remedial purposes. That's recording lessons using the ClearTouch. So let's talk about the side menu a little bit. The side menu, you'll notice, is an arrow on your desktop. It's on both sides of the screen until you open it. Once you've opened it on one side, you won't notice it on the other side. You have the home, which is going to take you to the Android side of the ClearTouch. You have Canvas, which is your whiteboard tool. You can annotate the screen. You can lock the screen. So if you have something on your board and you don't want it to time out, it provides a lock for you. To get unlocked, you simply hit that button again. You also have, and sometimes my arrows disappear for a minute, so I'm going to wait, they're back. Click on that. I also have the hammer and the wrench tool, spotlight, countdown, stopwatch, and air class. If I want to switch the mode that I'm in, so let's say that I have a computer hooked up to my HDMI, this is where I would go to find that computer. So that is the little slide right here on your menu. And then I can record a lesson, but I haven't had a whole lot of luck getting my sound to work with that. Highly encourage you to let me know about that, but this is another way to record a lesson. So that's my side menu, and those are my options. Since we've talked about Chorus, which is my whiteboard, we've talked about annotating the screen, we're going to go and we're going to look at the hammer and the wrench tool. Underneath your side menu, you're going to notice again that you have the home, you have the version of Chorus where you can annotate, you can actually do screen annotations, lock the screen, and then right underneath that you're going to notice a hammer and a wrench. When you click on that, it provides a spotlight tool, countdown timer, stopwatch timer, and then air class. So let's look at the spotlight. Similar to what you saw earlier in Snowflake. This one though, you can adjust the scale. You can adjust the transparency. If I were using this, I'd probably want it a little bit bigger than that. And let's just say that we're discussing the answer, and I say, okay, the answer is C. Maybe I really want kids to focus on that. I may even say, hey, let's go over here to this, and that's all I want them to focus on. All right, so that could be used for this. Maybe if you get creative, you'll find some other uses. To exit that, you simply hit X. So that is the spotlight tool underneath the hammer and the wrench. You also have a countdown timer and stopwatch. Simple. If I want 1 minute, I select 1 minute, I hit start. I can reset it, I can X out of it, whatever I need to do. As you know, as a teacher, timers are very important. I use those constantly in my classroom. That kept not only the kids on track, but mainly me on track. So that's there for you. Also have a stopwatch, it counts up. So if I start that, it's going to count up. You can also hit your laps, and it gives you the certain laps. Again, when you're ready to close that out, you hit X. A new feature, I say new, maybe something new to you, is the air class feature. So we're going to click on air class, and it's going to bring up this code. I'll grab my phone. Now, I'm not a big fan of having cell phones in the classroom. I think they're distracting, but maybe you're a little more laid back than me. You're going to scan your QR code. And these are the kids scanning. And you're going to notice that I have users that are joined. So when I get ready, it's going to allow me to enter my name. It's going to say enter, and I'm going to enter that. And it tells me how many users are joined. Now I'm ready to use this as a teacher. Let's go back. All right. So I've displayed a question for the kids, and I'm going to use the voter feature. You've got single choice. Maybe I want them to put multiple choices in, not necessarily for this one, but I'm going to use a single choice. The very key thing is your class is not going to work unless you hit begin. So I'm going to begin this. And this allows the kids to vote using their screen. So let's say that it's on top of an answer. I can simply slide this down. I'm going to notice that the answer is C. So I enter C. I hit OK. And what you're going to notice as the teacher is that Matt has answered this question. So when I'm done, when all students have had an opportunity to enter their answer, you click Finish. and it gives you the data. So I know in a split second, 100% of the class knew this answer. Obviously, I would also know who didn't know the answer. Another cool thing is when I get ready to, I know that the correct answer is C, and it tells me the percentage. So you got a little bit of quick data there, but I can also explain this. So let's say that my data was way out of whack, too many kids missed it. It's going to show the statistics, it's going to allow me to move that. It's also going to allow me to see when I'm explaining what I'm explaining. So pretty cool feature. That's the voter option. The next option is the exact same thing as the voter, except it's true or false. So the exact same thing. It allows you to view the data. Selector and responder. Responder is going to allow a kid to raise their hand without raising their hand. It just makes a more fun way to raise your hand. Selector is going to randomly choose a student, which I really like. I used to have to write names on popsicle sticks. When I start that, it selected me because I'm the only one in the class. Good way to get kids participating, good way to keep them on their toes, randomly selecting. The next thing that you got to be real careful about is the message feature. Wouldn't use this in my classroom, so I'm not going to tell you everything about it. I will tell you that if you don't have the no icon on this message, kids are going to be able to send messages across your ClearTouch. We don't want that for obvious reasons. So when you're looking at this, if you decide to use this feature, Air Class, make sure that this is clicked on and has the no symbol. Let's say a kid comes in late, missed the QR code, but you're in the middle of using this. You simply hit Manager, hey kid, scan the QR code, and it allows them to join your class easily. And then lastly, when I'm done, you've got your exit button and exit. So that is Air Class and the features of the sidebar. Alright, so you do have two sides of your ClearTouch panel. You have multiple sides, but if you don't have any external computers hooked up, you really only have two. You can adjust which side you're on by coming to the side menu. You're going to click on the, I call it the slide icon. It's going to bring up this panel. So you're going to notice that right now I have a PC and Android side. And if I have an external device hooked up to HDMI, you can also choose that. Most of the time, if you're not using any of that, you're going to have your PC and your Android side. So I'm going to go to my PC side. The advantage of the PC is that it's just like using your computer. In fact, multiple people use their ClearTouch as a computer. So it's got your browser, it's got your desktop, all the functions of a computer, your laptop that you have. On the Android side, you do have limited functions. For example, when I first started using the ClearTouch, I was on the Android side trying to open up a PowerPoint and it wouldn't work. So if you ever notice that, make sure, or if you're trying to use something on your computer and it's not working, make sure that you are on the correct side. So PC would be best for PowerPoints and Canva and things like that. The Android side does have some features. Now, Canvas is labeled Canvas. I've often heard it called Chorus, but this is your whiteboard software. You do have a browser. I would prefer to use the browser on the PC side. The one thing that you do have, though, is the ClearTouch store. This is a place you can download apps, and the cool thing is, many of these apps are free. So, if you click on Education, that's Communications. Let's go back. If you click on Education, you'll notice that you have all kinds of free apps. Now, obviously, some of these require a login, so be careful with that, but many don't. I found a really cool periodic table app that downloads, and you can literally display the periodic table, click on the different elements, see their characteristics, their properties, all that stuff. Class Dojo, Khan Academy, lots and lots of good stuff here. And that would simply go to the Android side of your board, so you could use that with your kids. So two sides of the board. You got a PC and an Android side. You can also hook up external devices like your laptop with HDMI, but that's going to be on the side menu, the slider icon, and that's how I switch between the multiple sides of your board.